What's up, guys? I'm back here making another video, and I'm pretty excited about this one. I got Prism Mike in the shop, and we're gonna be taking this truck, pulling the bed off and cutting the frame in half because we're gonna make a short bed truck. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I have the other bed outside, so I'll show you that. But first, I'm gonna finish pulling this bed off, and then I'm gonna push the truck out, wash it, clean everything up. I think it's been almost 2 years since I lowered the truck and had the bed off last time. So it's a little bit dirty under there. I'm gonna clean it all up while I have it apart. And then I'll get started on all of the hard work, because up to this point, I've done a lot of little stuff. I've just pulled the tail lights out and disconnected everything from the bed. So it's been a lot of easy stuff. Now here comes the hard part. Luckily, I have a lift. Unless if I can get somebody here to help me pull this bed off, because I can't lift anything with my left hand because I still have to have surgery in 2 days. If I can't get anyone to help me, I'm gonna probably just try to use the lift and pick it up on the lift. So yeah, let's just get right into it. This is an exciting video for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing the final result more than anything. I also have some extra parts that I ordered. Those have already arrived. I had a couple more things I need to get, but I'm changing some stuff with the fuel system, kind of upgrading it. And I also have a short bed front to rear brake line. So I'll show you everything I ordered, and you guys will kind of get to see the whole process of this. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so fuel cell's out. I'm not really changing a whole lot with the fuel cell itself, but I am going to be running a bigger fuel line. I have a different fuel pump for this as well. There's just a couple of things. We'll get into all of that later, but right now everything is out of the bed, so I mean, except for that. But it's pretty much all cleaned up. The bed, I'm gonna lift with my good hand here. You probably couldn't even see nothing, but the bed is ready to come off of the truck. So let's see if we can do this. All right, so little update. The truck's up in the air. The bed's off, as you guys know. And I've just been pulling stuff off of the frame. Really, it's kind of simple. There's not a whole lot to my truck. I don't have gas tanks. No, just bug in here. All right, so basically I got a fuel cell in the bed, and my battery's in the bed. So, I mean, battery cables and some stuff for the Holly. Like, there's really not a whole lot, though, extra that runs past the cab. So I cleaned it all up, got these fuel lines out. I have fuel in that, brake fluid in that, tranny fluid in that, and brake fluid in that. So there's a lot of buckets, but fuel lines are out, exhaust is off, drive shaft is off. I don't really know. There's not really a whole lot left. I got all the taillight wiring and all of that stuff off. Oh, I got this brake line out. This is the front to rear brake line, and this is the one that I'll show you guys what I bought to replace that. So Basically, there's just one line from your proportioning valve up front that runs back. I got a short bed one, so it came in two pieces. Should have came in, I haven't opened the box yet, but it should have come in two pieces, and yeah, it should work out really well. Let me tell you something though. Whoever likes working on brake lines or like, hard line style brake lines, especially that, like, a soft line to your caliper, or, even doing brake jobs, not a big deal. If you like working on hard line, brake line stuff, you're a psychopath, because I hate it. I absolutely hate everything about hard lines. There's always, first of all, this 42-year-old truck. Most of my experience with any kind of brake line stuff is on older vehicles, and there's always a crusty old I can't even talk. A little fitting that you got to crack that thing open and get that brake line off, and you can't even find a wrench that fits it, because every single wrench, it's always like either rusted enough to where it's a different bolt size or whatever, or then it just rounds off so nothing fits it. I don't like it at all. I ended up, after WD-40 and everything, I finally got out the old, listen here, son, channel locks. It worked. It's fine. It was not that big of a deal, but I spent like 30 minutes just trying to get the brake line off of here, right there. That's a new thing I gotta say. That's how like worked up I am over it. But anyways, I didn't get any brake fluid on the QA1 front end, which is 100%, like that's what counts. So I don't want any of that stuff sitting on that front end. But then I had to get it back through there. Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare, because it went from up here and through this little tiny hole that almost is too small to even exist. It was a lot. So now I'm basically at the point I can start kind of mocking up some measurements, and then double check measurements, triple check measurements. The fourth time of checking measurements, I'm probably going to do it a lot, because your boy doesn't want to cut this and then be screwed. But I mean, that's not bad, we can work with that. So something I am thinking about though, I've never done this before, so I don't really know, but I've seen a lot of people just get rid of the bed mount holes. Okay, so and they cut super, let me get on this side of the frame. They will cut, like, there's a bed mount hole, lines up with this hole. They will cut here, or they'll measure 20 inches or whatever that is, and they'll do their Z cut, and they ended up cutting like both. That looks really ugly, I know, I'm sorry. They'll end up cutting both of their bed mount holes. I'm thinking about moving this back and doing a straight cut. A lot of people do straight cuts or Z cuts. I don't really think it matters too much if you brace it good enough on the inside, but basically it would cut probably somewhere back in here, and it would move it off of this front hole. It'd move it right where this radius comes down, cut right there somewhere in that area. Take the 14 inches out right there, and come back here, take out my 6 inches. I gotta take these rivets out, and then I'm gonna get some bolts for this brace, move it up. These are the factory short bed holes on these frames, and you're supposed to cut 6 inches off. And then once you do that, and you move that up there, basically you have this right here, but up here. So that's kind of how that works. As far as I know, I mean, I'm not a fabrication guy, and I've never done this before in my life, but I've had the bed off of this before, and it's really, like, it's nothing crazy. I mean, C10s are pretty simple, especially square bodies. Everything's square, and it's nothing square. Everything's been out of shape. This truck is worked, but yeah, washed up the engine a little bit. Don't worry about these crusty tires. Those are hand-me-downs, but it looks a lot better up there. All right, so kind of at a stopping point-ish for now. I'll probably pick this back up tomorrow. But this is about my first day's worth of work. Ready to start measuring and cutting. I'm just at the point I gotta go to work tomorrow and I'm trying to go to bed. So we'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, real quick, I just wanted to make a video while I was measuring this out. So I want to keep this bed mount hole up front because that'll line the bed up perfect and it'll just make a lot less work for me trying to drill new holes and make sure the bed is perfectly straight. So I'm going to do a straight cut. Here's my 14 inches. We are going to lose this second bed mount hole, but I noticed looking at what some other people do that they had another hole here, and I don't have a hole here, but I do have a mark from my long bed. So one time that the rust has actually come in handy, where I'm gonna drill this hole. So hopefully when I cut this 14 inches out, this hole will be 10 inches away from this hole, and that should be the exact distance from the front two holes on the short bed itself. I need to go double check that, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I can drill a new hole. If this is off a little bit, I can just drill a new hole, whether it's here or over here or whatever. But the main thing is I have this hole, and then I have that first hole back there, right there, that hole and this hole. That way I'll have the bed in four corners mounted down. But yeah, I measured 14 inches, and from where the bed was sitting, you could see a mark right here. So I measured 1.5 inches off of the center of this hole. So that way I'm not cutting where the bed's gonna sit, where that brace is. So 1.5 inches off of the hole, off the center, is where I started my measurement. And then I went 14 inches back from there. Obviously I had a different idea and I started to draw with a Sharpie there. And I did the same thing over here. I had a couple different ideas first, and then 1.5 inches off of the hole, center of the hole, and 14 inches back is what I've decided on. So I know how to use the square and a tape measure apparently. That's really awesome. And we'll see what happens from here. Look, man, I still got these hospital socks on. Just got out of surgery. Check that out. We both are getting surgical over here. Me and Prison Mike both went under the knife. So we're using some angle iron here. Got some clamps to really kind of square off the back end of this frame and measured diagonally. Found some matching holes right here and measured diagonally. This thing is pretty darn square. I mean, it's about as good as you can get. We're gonna do just a little bit more touching up, so I'm gonna separate all of this again, touch it up a little bit, put it back together, square it all up, and get to tacking everything into place. But yeah, this thing's going great. Hold on one second. Oh boy, we're zoomed way in here. Surgery went great. I'm out. Nothing's gonna stop me from working on my hot rod. Still got the hospital socks on, so you know they're comfortable, man. The best socks ever made. But yeah, doing good. I even still got I still got the thing where they took the IV out. But just want to let you guys know where I was at on this thing after leaving off from last night. Yeah, cut the center section out and it was almost exactly the 14 inches. It was just a little bit short of 14, and we're talking like maybe 2/16 of an inch. So it's perfect to do a little bit of massaging on the frame and kind of getting it all, make sure it's really straight, putting it together. And as of last night, before, like, I'm gonna pull it apart like I said, but it is really square and really looking good. So I'm super confident about this and really happy with where it's at right now. But I'm gonna get to work here in a little bit. I gotta make some phone calls about getting the drive shaft dropped off. Probably end up doing that on Monday, which is great because that'll give me time to knock everything else out and get the measurements that I need for the drive shaft. And then the fuel line. I need fuel line and a fuel filter. I knew the fuel line was gonna wait. I'm going to Holzman Race Cars. Rob knows what he's doing. He's got some line for me that he said that he could hook me up with. So gonna go to Holzman Race Cars, get some Dash 8 line and some fittings that I need. And then what else? The fuel filter, I flat out forgot to order that. So that is something that I'm probably gonna talk to Rob about, see if he's got one of them laying around. But other than that, I mean, we're doing good. We're making progress. This thing's looking good. Everything looks really square. I still gotta heat up these two rivets here. Either I'll just go get an air chisel. I think my uncle has one I could borrow. If my dad doesn't have one, I could steal. Get an air chisel, knock those out, or just heat them up and try to chisel them out of there. I don't know. But basically, we're gonna move this brace here forward to these two holes, and then we're gonna cut off 6 inches. And a lot of people, oh my gosh, I'm doing terrible recording. A lot of people will cut this at 5 3/4 of an inch, and I think I might start with that, just because, you know, you can always take some off, but you can never put it back. So I might go ahead and start with 5 3/4 at the end here, and we'll see where that puts me. I'm probably gonna wait to do this until after this is all tacked up and got that fish plate on the inside, and we'll see how it goes. Once this is all squared up and perfect and I can set the bed on the truck, I'll cut this at maybe 5 3/4 and then set the bed on, see how it goes, see how it looks from there. And if I like it, I'll just leave it. If not, I might trim off that extra 1/4 inch. Who knows? I kind of got all the time in the world right now for this, so it's not really a rush. Look at that tire. Who's your daddy? I need to go. I actually need to finish this side. I got caught up in some stuff at the time, and I was just like, man, it takes so long because I'm using paint markers on a dirty old tire, and it just kind of took a while for me to get that lettering done. And it was all free-handed, so I feel like it's not that bad. but I've never done it before. I've never rode on a tire before, really. So didn't really know what I was doing there, but I think it came out pretty cool. We kind of need to yellow it up a little bit so it matches the faded Hoosier there. But yeah, I mean, this thing's good. The angle iron just squares everything up. Once I got the angle iron on it, and oh, hold on one second. Once I got the angle iron on it, I just came up here with the floor jack and jacked it up just to make sure it was sitting flat and level on the lift, because it was definitely like wanting to lean forward. The whole truck's off the ground right now, as you can see, the back tires and the front tires here. So it's off the ground. Put the jack under it, leveled it up, and then I heard a little, like, it just settled into place, and it's great. Doing good, making a lot of progress. I'm super happy. I'm totally have ruined my dad's shop and made a huge mess, but that's all right, you know. Go get you some QA1 though. They really helped me out with this truck. So not with this part, but with all the other stuff under the front end. I still love that stuff. I can't wait till this thing is back running. I'm gonna go to the track here pretty soon, do a test and tune, and yeah, we shall see how good it does at the track, because I'm gonna play around with like taking that sway bar off and doing some passes without the front sway bar on it, and then doing some passes with the front sway bar on it, and then might even take the travel limiter cables off of the front suspension. So that's what's really awesome, is like, not only is the QA1 stuff super simple to work on, but it's really cool because it is very adjustable. So I would like to do a lot of autocrossing with this truck, or at least learn. I've never done it in my life, but that would be a really cool thing to do. And being able to just unbolt that sway bar for drag racing if I want to, and test different ways of running it, and then bolt it back on and do some autocross. Man, it's just, I think it's going to work really good. So I'm super excited about this, and the dang dog won't stop barking in the background, so I'm going to probably go take it inside. But yeah, I'll pick up later when I have an update.
Look at that. Clamp?
Hold on. I just want you to know, I know you did all the welding and cutting and you made that material perfect, and that's your material, but I took the measurement.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. You want another one, or you just that one good?
That's good. We're gonna put two on here to pull this down, but we're gonna get this side tacked up pretty good.
Okay.
Here. Welding hood.
Alright guys, so I got one of the boxes out here that I've ordered. This is the front to rear brake line that I had already taken out. It's got like a union setup in it, I guess, so it's two-piece brake line. And it comes in a box just like this. Got a couple other little things. Looks like one of them is instructions that we don't need. And I have fuel system parts that I've also ordered. And here's some of the line that I just got yesterday. I have dash 8 feed and dash 6 return lines, but right now we're going to focus on trying to get this on the truck, get it in place, and then I think I'm going to focus on the fuel system next because I need to drain my fuel cell completely. So anyways, I'll give you guys an update as I go along. Alright, just a little quick update. Getting this back brace, it's already bolted in. It looks great. It's just gone right into these holes. All I did was move it up forward. So remember, we had about 6 more inches here of frame rail, and it was mounted there. So moved it up, cut those off, and I just grabbed some bolts from Lowe's. I got a little bit of wiring, got some extra length of wiring. That's for my tail lights, so that I'll probably just for now tuck up out of the way and tie it off, and kind of make it look as good as I can with what I got. This is all my battery cables and wiring. That is a simple solution because before my battery was mounted right at the wheel well, and now I'm planning on moving it further back in the bed. So the battery cables and stuff being a little bit longer, that's good. Obviously it's not all, you know, routed the way I want, so it's not going to be as long as this once I get it into place. So I'm getting really close to putting the bed back on and routing all my wiring with the bed on, just that way I kind of see where I can hide it and tuck it up out of the way, because I try to do that as much as I can on just about any kind of wiring or any kind of lines that I'm running. I try to hide them as good as I can, or at least just make this look as presentable as possible. So the brake line, that's a little bit of that was kind of a hassle, but it works. I got it into place. I had to eat up some line on the frame there, and it's all right. I mean, it's not a bad brake line for the price or nothing, but it was I don't know if it was, well, I'm not too sure if it was maybe the right line or if it was just a little bit too long. I don't know, but wasn't bad. I hate hard line stuff and was kind of getting annoyed with it pretty quick, but it's not bad when it's all brand new stuff. It's pretty easy to work with. So right now I'm just going to get up underneath the truck. I got some bolts and little fasteners to tie up just to fasten the brake line into the factory locations on the frame, and that's what I'm going to be doing at the moment. And then hopefully probably start on some fuel system stuff. I just checked the pinion angle and I'm pretty happy with that. And then measure for the drive shaft. I do need to measure for the drive shaft pretty soon. So I wouldn't want a new rear end. That would be super awesome, but maybe someday. I don't know. Don't hit my truck.
Ooh. Holy cow.
Don't be jealous. But it looks pretty good.
That's crazy.
Little stubby.
Alright, so the other morning I had just gotten out of my surgery and I came out, got the truck all the frame squared up and everything, and was kind of messing around with it with my dad and taking care of some other things, and then my brother Jesse showed up and he didn't even ask. I didn't ask him. He just showed up and wanted to get to work, and he came over and welded this frame up for me, which was the nicest thing ever. So I want to take a second to say thank you to Jesse. I owe you one for that. That was just super awesome. But he came over, knocked it out, and when you got somebody that is that good at welding and does it for a living, why would you not want to have a professional work on your truck, especially when it's your own brother? So I appreciate that so much. You made it look awesome and you did a really good job. Everything's painted black now, but I wouldn't have gotten this far this fast on the truck, so if you didn't come over and do that for me, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. And I know it's all painted right now, so you can't see too much, but you can still see what he did. There's a big plate in here on each side of the frame, and he welded on the outside, and then he filled in all the holes for me and everything, so did a really good job. Alright, well here you guys go. Prism Mike's a short bed truck now, and I think this thing looks pretty sweet. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got the bed on the other morning and that went pretty smooth. Did get the brake line done. So basically I have some wiring to do for the tail lights. I got to finish up my fuel system, which is going to be in the next video, and right now I'm not too far away from having just about all of the short bed stuff done. Like I said before, I mean, I had the brake line, wiring, and the fuel system stuff. Those are the only things. And then the exhaust needs to be shortened, and I do have my drive shaft. It's under that truck. That was already cut down and shortened. So everything right now is pretty much ready to go. I don't know why there's a British car in here, but got my brother's short bed truck, my short bed truck. I'm excited about this. So I kind of took a little bit of a pause from like the wiring and fuel system and stuff, because I needed to, in order to do some stuff for the fuel system and basically run out of the front of my fuel rails to my regulator, I had to change my alternator bracket and remount that. So I went to ICT Billet, got my new alternator relocation kit, and I got a new water pump as well because mine was starting to leak a little bit and I was having some trouble with it. So I just got a new one. But yeah, this looks great. I mean, it's really dirty under here. I need to clean all that up. And then obviously I have my fuel lines and stuff. But this is going to be cleaned up a little bit. But there's a new regulator under there. And this thing is coming together pretty well. I'm really happy with how it turned out, making this thing a short bed. And I got some clips I want to throw in here so that way you guys can see kind of like outside what it looks like walking around the truck. But I got a lot of stuff to do. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions about making your truck a short bed. As far as cutting your bed up, I don't really know too much. Obviously I just threw another bed on here, but this thing is looking good, and doing the short bed kit, or doing the short bed conversion, was pretty easy to do. It wasn't as complicated as I had kind of thought it was going to be in the very beginning, and I was leaning towards using a kit, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I learned a lot. And on top of that, I got to have my brother help me with some welding and stuff, so it's kind of cool to say that my brother helped me with my truck a little bit. I do appreciate that, and it makes the truck kind of mean a little bit more to me now. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.